Thank you for those beautiful words. And no, my father did not go to MIT, but he liked to joke he did. Um, so I'm Dylan, as you all know, and before I start my speech, I would just like to read a poem that I found. It says, healing is more about accepting the pain and finding a way to peacefully coexist with it. In the sea of life, pain is a tide that will ebb and weave continually. We need to learn how to let it wash over us without drowning in it. Our life does not have to end where the pain begins. Rather, it is where we start to mend. Jada DeWalt. Hi, everyone. My name is Dylan Levitt, the writer of the We Got This blog. And on October 29th, 2019, my life changed instantly. Every image that I had ever formulated within my mind drowned in the lake of my falling tears after being rushed out of my home with zero knowledge of why. My saddened mother and aunt sat my sister and I down in her bedroom. With little preparation for the words soon to exit her mouth, my mother finally told us what had occurred. These 6 words have and will forever remain the hardest I've had to endure. Daddy took his own life tonight. Those words, though merely just a few strung together, are so powerful that they traumatize both the girl that I was and the girl that I have grown to become. On the nights that I feel so broken beyond repair, and my sheets are balled up into my fists because I am fighting to yield to a scream, they echo in my ear. I told my mother that I think about the Tuesday he passed every single day. It is like my alarm clock. I wake up and suddenly I can picture his funeral as if there was a painting right in front of me. I see his cold, dead body laying so peacefully in his brown wooden casket. I recall my mom, sister, and I holding each other for stability and sobbing uncontrollably. Those first few hours, days, and months are eternally etched into my skin that no matter how many times I try and scrub them off, they just keep reappearing. Now I'm going to read a poem that I wrote called The Angel. The man was in pain, and he had been for a long time. He had been drowning in silent sorrows, fighting to keep himself from sinking. Now, he no longer yielded the strength. Before his impending, inescapable death, he held his daughter's face in his hands, whispering through tears and sobs that he loved her dearly and that he would always love her, but the weight of the world had finally broken him. The blue-eyed girl begged him to stay, hollering that this could not be the end and that it was not his time to go. She was not ready to love an angel. My dear, he muttered, I will be your strength in a field of darkness, the heart and soul that will keep you wise and prudent, and the air that will provide you oxygen to breathe, even when you feel like you can't. I will be the stars which provide you a beautiful place that will take you to your divine destiny. And while I may be God's newest angel, please never forget that I was your father first. Where are you now? That was the text one of my best friends sent me the day after my father passed. I had just gotten home from the worst therapy session of my life and had exhausted my tear ducts. I barely glanced at my phone for the duration of that Wednesday, but when I did, my body wailed in anguish. The shock that I had been trying to push down inside of me and hide away so I could breathe for just 1 second came right back up again. I don't know what to say. She must not know about Dad. I looked at my mother and at my aunt, their eyes illuminated by the pang they now felt in their hearts. Even now, 2 years later, the response that I wrote to my close friend still haunts me. I remember hitting the send button, praying to God that she would not see it, because then it would not be real. If she never saw the words I loathed writing, then Dad would come back alive and tell me this was all some sick joke he was playing on us. Every shred of my heart that bled me dry would come back together, and I would be whole again. I was so ruined by my father and his decision that his death took my heart in its hands and threw it to the floor, shattering it. For a long time, it stopped wanting to beat or to feel anything, because when it did, it just further broke until the pieces became so small that it did not even realize it was losing part of itself. My father had this larger than life and infectious personality that drew others to him. Sure, he was intelligent and athletic, but it was his humor and loyalty that made people go, wow, who is that person? I want to get to know that man. My father was my best friend, and I was his. The two of us had so much fun together, jamming out to country music in the car and attending concerts. He told me that he loved me and that he was so proud of me, so I never expected him to hurt me as badly as he did. I never thought he was capable of stealing pieces of me that I could never get back. My father's death turned me into another kid in the unwanted club of losing a parent, which can be a very lonesome club. So when my mom brought up comfort zone camp, I was immediately in. I was finally going to be surrounded by people who understood my pain and who understood what it was like to lose a parent in such a traumatizing way. As a twin, Alexa and I have always had each other when times got rough, but she decided that she was not ready to go to camp. My mom asked if that would deter me, but I said no because I had this gut feeling that comfort zone was going to be the right place for me. So, in May of 2021, I drove to camp with zero knowledge of what the weekend was going to look like. I knew nobody and was going into this new experience solo, but within the first 5 minutes of being there, I connected with my group. I already felt accepted. Comfort Zone Camp is not just a place of indescribable loss, it is also a place of healing. It is a place where you can laugh, and you can cry, and you can hurt, but where there is always someone to lend a consolatory hand. At CZC, there is a role called Challenge by Choice, where you can choose to share your story and participate in the activities or not. How much you get out of your time at Comfort Zone depends on you and only you. I've been to 2 camps and both were very different, but still contained the same values. The first one I went to was solely for people who had lost a loved one to suicide, and the second was for people who had lost someone in any way. I was nervous going into the general camp because of my loss, but I still felt comfortable and absolutely adored my group. What makes Comfort Zone such an incredibly special place is that within minutes, you feel like family with your healing circle. Some days, I feel like I've lived a much longer life than I have because grief can do that to you. I've had all kinds of diverse experiences, but nothing has come close to Comfort Zone Camp. There is not a single place where you can feel so connected with people in just 2.5 days. Comfort Zone Camp is a place of bonding because in the end, we are all there for a reason, and that is because we have survived losses most people could not imagine. When I see little kids at camp clutching their stuffed animals, there is a part of me that loses sight of what I have been through. Those innocent little faces full of laughter are also grieving, which makes me want to go wrap them in a hug. I wrote in my blog post, Brave AF, about my first camp experience, and my favorite quote to come out of that article was, "I look back now with fond memories of that weekend. Yes, there were painful moments, but what made them beautiful was that everyone was hurting together. No one was hurting alone. There is such beauty and strength in togetherness and being surrounded by people who do not make you feel like an outsider. Comfort Zone Camp has changed my life. It welcomed me with open arms and provided me with a safe space to let my emotions out. I went into camp without ever verbally speaking to anyone other than my family and therapist about all of the agony I have experienced. Look, I cannot tell you all what to do with your money, but I can say this. 1.5 million kids lose one or both of their parents each year. That is 5% of the world who may not have the resources to deal with their pain because therapy is expensive. Comfort Zone Camp is free for all kids, and as much as I adore my therapist, camp is one of the most unbelievable communities for grieving children. Before I go, I must make a few honorable mentions. To Jamie and Mitch Decter, this event is absolutely beautiful, and thank you for allowing me to speak about such a special place. Next, to Lynn Hughes, the founder of Comfort Zone, what you have started is absolutely incredible. Camp has not only saved me, it has also saved so many other children. To the people that have come to share their support, it means so much. You never quite understand the magnitude of Comfort Zone's magic until you have stepped foot in camp. To my mother and sister, your unwavering and unconditional love is held dearly within my soul. Lastly, to my father, Eric, I miss you each and every day, and I breathe another breath. You left this world so suddenly, leaving me behind in the process, which hurts me deeply. But I promised you a long time ago that I would forgive you when I am ready, and I intend to keep my word. Heaven, continue to keep my father safe and content. I love you, Dad. May we meet again in another lifetime. Thank you.